In this tutorial, I'm going to introduce to you the Unity physics system within the Unity game engine. So I'm going to come up here and create a cube. I'm going to duplicate this cube, and I'm going to drag this other cube up top here. So the way that I did this, I'll hit Control Z until this cube is gone. I'll do that again for you. I basically selected the cube, hit Control D, and then click and drag up on the Move tool. If the Move tool isn't displaying for you, simply select the cube and hit the W key on your keyboard. You'll notice that the cube up top has a box collider, and the cube below it has a box collider. In addition, I'm going to add to the one on the top by going to Add Component Physics Rigid Body, a rigid body component to this cube. I'm going to leave Use Gravity enabled, and I'm going to hit play. And you'll see that this object collides with this other game object. Now, why did that happen? That's because when you have a collider attached to a game object, it tells Unity to make sure that nothing goes past this collider, right? Because this identifies one object. Now, this other collider identifies the boundaries of this other object. The reason we gave this a rigid body was to give it a mass and to allow it to fall onto the other cube. Now, if I were to do something here, like offset it, let's see what happens. You'll see now that our cube went tumbling down. So what I'm actually going to do is create game object, 3D object, and I'm going to create another cube. But this time, I'm going to hit the R key, and I'm going to scale it so it makes sort of a floor. Scale it down that way. And now I'm going to drag it down here. And I just want to scale it out a lot in this direction and in this direction, just to show you this interaction. Now I'm going to actually duplicate this object and put some of these at different heights. Okay, now when we hit play, let's see what happens to the cubes. And as you'll see, they interact and fall in different ways. Now, one last thing you'll notice is that this cube down here is floating. In order to stop that from happening, we're going to give it a rigid body as well, using the method detailed before. And now when we hit play, all these different objects are interacting with one another physically. Let's see what happens when we remove Unity physics from these game objects. Will they still interact in this way? Obviously the answer is no, but let's take a look. We'll remove the box colliders from the game objects. Then we'll go through and remove the rigid bodies from each of these game objects, from any of the ones that have a rigid body attached to it. Now we're going to hit play. As you can see here, nothing even happens. So basically, without physics to guide our interaction and movement of our game objects would simply be stagnant objects in the world. Of course, we can use scripting to add functionality to them, but without adding some sort of physics to them, the interactions would still be a bit limited.